right, and we're live. Welcome to another episode of Salisbury Anarchy, year 497. We're here with our regulars, and only our regulars, though some are under weird faces because they went nuts in the last couple episodes here. Or tried to kill someone in previous. It's complicated, but let's start with Thomas.
Hello, my name is Thomas, and I will be playing Sir Edrich of Winterbourne, Stoke, and I haven't gone insane or tried to kill anyone yet.
That's fair. Mark.
Hello, I am Mark, aka the Cat's Meow, and today I will be playing, probably Sir Rhodri of Idmiston. But Sir Florence, the Baron of Axe, is also here doing some stuff in the background, and we'll see how things go down.
Oh yeah, you're Rhodri right now, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even sure Rhodri's gonna have a place in this. We'll figure that out. We're gonna go to Liam now. So
he's a cool guy. He'll figure it out. Thomas the Knight's still young. I'm Liam. I play normally Sir Virgil on this show, but today I'm playing Sir Elroy or Elroy. And I've got some blood vengeance to settle potentially. Looking forward to seeing what's in store tonight and doing some intriguey stuff.
all right. This is it's gonna be an episode, and there really wasn't a good way to prepare for this one. So let's just dive in and see what the hell's gonna happen here. We're gonna kind of pick up where we left off to some degree. I'm gonna switch Mark around because I think we need to see Rhodri's wonderful face here for this. Only to turn around and have to switch it later. But so the first thing we're facing as this group of folks got appointed to basically name a marshal, since the marshal's tournament went to hell in a handbasket. We're dealing with some people that are angry. So the people that are asked to meet and decide this is a member from the Born, a member from the Loyalists, a member from Newton, and a member from Mere. Leo's men and Hill Farm were not invited, and they're angry because they're like, from Hill Farm's perspective, it's like the only reason we should be denied this is because of the atrocity that Leo's men have created. And from Leo's men, Sir Barr in particular is like, fuck that, I need to be part of this decision. We haven't lost yet, even with Leo's disgrace. So there's it's quickly going to a bad place right now. Give me intrigue rolls, all three of you. We'll do Rhodri, Edrich, and Elroy.
Lily, no.
Success.
Lily's rolling first, I see.
Success.
All right.
Success.
Look at us.
We're doing it,
go.
lads. Look at us now. Who would have thought?
Not me.
All right. Let's see here. So tonight's gonna be a few more like vignette type things, and we're gonna zoom in and see what we're doing with our main character. It's gonna be an interesting one. But as all of you succeed, intrigue, you find out that Lady Ellen seems a little strange that she would quickly appoint you to all figure this out. But you find out that a important guest has also arrived at the same time from the east. And she's moved to treat with them. So this is kind of like a delegation.
Do we know who or where from?
From the east, so that removes Cornwall, anything north of you.
Yeah.
Beyond that, no. Either from Silchester or beyond. So Silchester, Londinium, South Seax, Kent. East Saxon. Could be any of those.
Quite literally could be anyone.
Well, can't be Malahut. Can't be anything north of you. Yeah.
Sure. Alright.
East is still a lot of the island, but yes, it's only a few.
It's probably some sort of emissary of some importance if she's breaking from figuring out who the marshal is during the middle of a martial, like a blunder, basically, right? To go deal with this.
Yeah.
Alright.
People are trying to keep the peace, but the thing is, there's not really anyone to do so. There is a seneschal who's recently been named. He is doing his best to keep the peace, but he's not terribly great at it, and he's not putting himself in harm's way as it's going. Seneschal says, "Please, everyone, please. We need to keep things orderly. Remember our station as knights and ladies." Now, where are we going with this? We are to appoint one from Mere, Newton, the Born, and the Loyalists to participate in this.
This is correct.
That immediately incites anger from the Hill Farm and the Loyalists. And then there's people on the outside of that are like, well, you know, if they get to participate, we should be able to too. If this is just a decision, then all of us should have a seat at the table. Like the ones who got disqualified for saying that.
A ridiculous statement to be adding towards the discourse. We're trying to find an answer, not make a more complicated question. Let us stick to the simplicity of what we have right now. Those that did remain, those that were not knocked out or did not lose their leadership. I think it is fair to say that this comes down to either that of the Born, of the Loyalists, and what were the other two?
Edrich will say Mere Newton Manor.
Mere Newton Manor.
I think Newton Matter was disqualified, actually.
Yeah. No.
Elroy was
Elroy was still
disqualified.
around.
Newton Manor itself wasn't disqualified.
Yeah.
I see.
Among the Manor of Newton. Okay.
Sir Brassius speaks up and says, like, people are turning towards him, and he's like, Salisbury is not my home. Sir Elroy, you were close with Jareth, yes? You would be a better fit than me.
And Elroy kind of like stands himself and he goes, "I've known Jareth for a very long time. He took care of my family, took care of mine. Don't seem right to me to leave his death unsolved. The matter of Marshall is a complicated one, but I see fit that those that are present here and in the running still to have jurisdiction on that. I trust that those that are currently standing here won't abuse that authority to take power that isn't due. I have faith in that."
I have a question. Do we know that Sir Jareth is dead?
No.
In that case, Edrich will speak up and say, "Knights of Salisbury, of Logres, we have been victim to a great many tragedies this day, but we need not add to it. Stay calm, have faith in your brethren, and sorry about that. And above all, keep a cool head. Matters will be sorted out. This is not the time for squabbling. This is the time to unite. There is a murderer on the loose, and one that has been captured.
Well, you do make some good points. Someone has to step forward to attempt to take the rightful position. Whoever it is must be one that we can all respect and come together to look upon. Whether or not we believe they are truly the right person for the job, they must be at least agreeable to the majority.
That is true. The leaders of those named parties, whether de facto or de jure, name your envoy, and then we can discuss in a more quiet place.
Right. I think because Sir Gareth's been eliminated, he happens to be away right now for the Bourne. So we're going to zoom in on a conversation between Rhodri and Sir Erwin. Sir Erwin, the humble, approaches Rhodri and says, "Might I get a moment of your time, Sir Rhodri?"
Of course, Sir Erwin. I am always happy to help out. What is it you need of me?
I would like some counsel. My understanding is you're wise in the courts, and
Oh no, Thomas is
Yeah.
dead.
I think Lily turned off his camera. Kicked him out.
She
all right, we'll be
ate
right back
an
on a
entire
BRB. Our stream was recently sabotaged by a cat, but we are back.
Yes, it was.
He's like, "What if I bite him now?" Will that help?
Why him? That'd be helpful.
All right. So, what was the last piece you said there, Mark? Sorry.
It was, I am always here for counsel should you need it. Yes, I am well versed in the ways of the courts. Any advice I can offer to you, I hope you can take in stride.
To be honest, the Bourne is a matter bigger than the tournament that will see the marshal of this county. But it's important to me that the one that is chosen is what's best for Salisbury. That is my truthful and honest goal in this. It won't do us any good to be on the brink of war with any of these warlords, whether they be Saxon or Himric.
Certainly. And there is certainly no place for Salisbury to be put into a civil war by those squabbling over scraps of power. Yes, and besides, the alliance of the Bourne will outlive this discussion of Marshall, no matter who takes the seat of power. That is what's important. But if we are to concede, we must make sure it is to the right person. Though, if I may be honest, you would make a wonderful candidate for Marshall, if you could only convince, well, let us say, your biggest rivals in that matter to stand down, as it were. It might be more difficult than it's worth.
Indeed. It seems that Sir Edrich is the most credentialed of what is left. But I fear that he will send us into chaos and war. But at least that is what many have whispered of.
Edrich is a good knight, a good warrior. I wouldn't want anyone else fighting by my side. Then again, I don't know if I would truly follow him into battle. As I've heard it described, he is a man ruled by his passions, and let us not forget his taste in women. The point being, he's rash. I don't know if that's the best person to be leading us in this time. I honestly believe either you or him are our best options. The rest will lead to far more squabbling than it's worth.
Indeed. I didn't expect to see Sir Leo end his time that way.
If I might have been honest, I kind of wish that he had won, and not dishonored himself with his own actions as he did. He was a good man and a good knight, and 'tis a shame to see him fall so far.
Erwin nods. Your family is close with Winterbourne Stoke, is it not?
Right. At least, my brother is. Was, perhaps. I'm sure, as you know, my brother concerns himself with other tasks as of now.
You've been a loyal member of this confederation since we've put it together.
I see it as my responsibility.
And it's for that reason, and with Gareth absent, that I would like to look to you to attend on my behalf. You have ties to Winterbourne Stoke. You have ties to Newton Manor.
I will see what I can do. I will advocate for you and ensure that you are put forward as a good primary candidate. I will also consider the other options depending on who is brought forward. But I am pleased to hear that you do trust me so. I will honor that trust by representing you best that I can.
If Edrich is to be... our marshal, we must move to convince him that such brazen ways of approaching things are dangerous in our current landscapes.
We would have to move to presenting him with an ideal council. Perhaps even those that are respected individuals among the many knights of our land. At least someone that can help guide his rasher actions.
I wonder about the boy now, Robert. How will he grow up without Leo's guidance?
To be honest, I'm not sure. I thought it all but assured that Leo would be a great role model for him, but after today, it's going to be dark times ahead. But hopefully in those dark times a shining light can at least be found.
Indeed, indeed.
If not, hopefully we can make a warlord out of him at least.
He will need to be in these times going forward.
That
Thank
is
you,
true.
Rhodri.
Of course.
I'd like to do something briefly with Elroy as well.
I love Elroy, and I love doing things briefly.
With Brassius.
Before you do, I've seen you cough a lot. Do you need to drink water or something?
I have water here. I don't
Gotcha.
know what's going on. I'm not like I don't know what's going on, but I got some kind of tickle in my throat. So
it's been
just
very
came out.
dry here. It's been very dry here, and that's definitely been affecting my throat a little bit. So
Could be I was fine till like 2 minutes ago. Then all of a sudden, and not from like coughing or like choking on anything. All of a sudden, it's like, hey, you want to develop a cough instantaneously? Here we go.
Hey, we're on camera. How about something that's going to be annoying for you? Yeah.
All right.
Elroy
Brassi-
Brastius.
Yeah. I know this is a bit difficult for of a position for you to be in, but with Sir Jareth down and Sir Jaren off fighting wars in the east, indeed.
I know he has his responsibilities out there, but for us here, he's just absent. My position hasn't changed, just the circumstances.
Jareth's biggest concern was stability.
One could say that.
He didn't want to see Salisbury sucked into any of these proxy wars.
One could say that. Jareth's... He's always been a complicated man, but he's very simple in some ways too. He knows what he wants. He's always been willing to take paths that others wouldn't consider. I think that he saw a larger picture in many things, for better and for worse.
Well, we'll be taking our payment and leaving Salisbury.
Pity. After all, your name carries a great deal of weight here, both for good and for bad. I know you have your reasons. Salisbury has not been very kind to you, but it could use someone like you. A mercenary is useful, certainly. But I never took you for the kind of man that would be so without purpose.
Do you take the knight's vows and oaths seriously, Sir Elroy?
I have been far from perfect in pursuing them, but I am a knight. It's in my blood, and I pray that I will die a knight as well.
Twice I've sworn to protect a lord. Twice I've outlived them. When Uther died, I swore an oath that I would serve no one but a rightful king.
Perhaps. But mercenary life, it has a way of devaluing that oath. Perhaps instead of serving a king or a lord, you serve a land. I can tell you I don't care very much for the people that live in Salisbury, but I love this land very dearly.
We will see what Logres creates. I will serve no Saxon in the meantime. Or any other invader, for that matter. When one worthy of the title presents themselves, I will make myself known. or they will have to defeat me to prove their worth.
There's kind of a moment where it looks like Elroy's done with the conversation, and then I think as Brastis turns to leave, I think he kind of reaches out and kind of grabs him and he goes, should Jareth not pull through, my debt to him will be repaid. I swore to him and not my family. Perhaps if there's room in your company, I would like to try and see what you see in that.
Should that be the case, come and find me. And with that, we'll move over to Edrich. Give me a second to die again here.
Oh no.
There we go.
So Brastis is dead. We haven't even solved the first one.
I think from this case, who's it gonna be?
Wicket from Star Wars Return of the Jedi.
Right?
I don't know what he's doing here, but he's here now.
What an oddly specific reference.
I have no idea why that's what came to me.
I'd love to play a game like that sometime. It's the most random. Everything about the game is random.
Yeah.
It will be who creates some dramatic attention or dramatic tension rather. Sir Bar. Make it Sir Bar.
That'll be perfect.
Yeah.
I think have you ever seen The West Wing where they do the whole walk and talk thing?
Yeah. 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. I think Edrich is doing that through the halls as he's going, obviously, to be his own representative. He is saying in a way that Sir Bar could probably hear as he approaches. Grunway, I'm going to need you to go to the infirmary, and I'm going to need you to keep an eye on Sir Jareth. Keep an eye on anyone who enters, anyone who leaves, be they women, be they men.
Right.
If they've made one attempt, they might make a second.
That was an instruction for your squire, is that correct?
That's right, yes. Yeah. Ground.
Right, my lord. And then it goes off.
I think Edrich will say, Ground, you are not to do first aid on anyone. This is vitally important.
And what was his first aid? Or is that a critical failure or something?
He always fucked up every time,
he
yeah.
Crit failed twice. He crit failed twice so far.
He
Once on
fumbles a
Edrich
lot.
and once on Florence's brother.
Yeah.
What's his name? Cadfile, yes.
Cadfile.
It's just
literally.
It's just the nerves, sire. I'm better than it seems.
Don't fuck up this time. Don't fuck up.
Now keep an eye on everyone. Silchester moves.
Right.
Sabah! Lovely.
Edrich? I thought I'd escort you to the meeting that I'm not going to be able to attend.
For what it is worth, I am sorry how events have played out.
They are not your cause. I've not seen that sort of response in Leo, and I've known him for a very long time. These times, these kingless times, are making monsters out of men.
Knights are, to a man, killers.
They are.
But
There's a montage of all the times Sir Bars bashed someone's head in with a mace on the battlefield.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I do not begrudge you, or Sir Leo, for turning away and wanting to forge your own path, to try and make a change to that. Sir Leo is a man, and like all men, he is flawed. I do not begrudge you breaking away from my banner. I understand it was not done without some grumbling. But for what it is worth, I still think of you as a knight of renown, one that others look to. And you will need to be, regardless of what has happened today.
It's time that we all settle this matter for Sarum before there is no Sarum left to guard.
Precisely so. Sarum is, on the grand scheme of things, quite small and surrounded by many enemies within and without. But let's not make our enemy's job any easier.
I will note that if you move towards martial law against the Countess or her children, I will be the first to step in your way.
I would expect nothing less. Do you know, Sir Lloyd has a reputation, one I feel wholly undeserved, mostly because I've never seen him do a damn thing in his life. I do not intend to institute martial law, because I believe in the Countess. I believe in her son. I believe in his right to rule, and I believe that he can grow into someone worthy of the title. It is his right. He is Roderick's son. I understand that you might not see everything that goes within my head and my heart, but I assure you, the Countess is in no danger from me.
Give me a heraldry test. Add a +5.
Absolutely. Lily. All right. Now, my heraldry is not the best.
You got the +5, right?
Yep. It's coming, presumably. Hey, success! It would have been a crit without the +5.
That's fair. We're not going to give you the crit, but you can get it checked because it would have been a 3 naturally.
It sounds like a plan.
Yeah. You walk by what you know the castle well enough. You've been here plenty of times. You walk by another hall that's under guard, and you see some of these. This is clearly where the emissaries are, and you see that on their lapels, the coat of arms of Duke Ulfius.
Well, not the worst thing that could have happened. Still not the best.
All right, with that, we're going to move to... Is there anything you want to say to Sir Bar before we move to bringing the 4 Edrich Elroy, Rhodri, and Robert Demir together?
Nope.
I think Edrich said pretty much everything he wants to. But before he enters the room, Edrich will say, Sir Bar, you wouldn't happen to have some undiscovered depth of investigative skill, would you?
Pretty good at making people tell me things. He packs one fist inside of another.
Good attitude. Perhaps, I think, if you can recall anyone who was on the stands and saw anyone leave before all broke into chaos and before Sir Jareth fell off of his horse with a stab wound from behind, I think identifying who might have left would be very helpful.
I'll speak to Kibno. He chose not to participate after all.
Thank you, Sir Bar.
Or did he? Did I have Kibno out there? I might have had him out there. He mentions the knight's name, we'll say. Because I might have had Kibno in the fight. So. Alright, and then we're gonna bring... So the 4 of you end up in a small council room guarded by some of Elaine's... Ellen? Who am I?
Elaine is a different person.
Lane's a different lady.
Yeah, Ellen's knights are here, minus those who fought in it, so... Actually, probably with some of them, unfortunately, who fought in them. So there's like some of Leo's men giving glares at Edrich and them as they walk in. It's like a very tense. You get the most divided. For those of you who've been around Salisbury a long time, this is the most divided Salisbury's ever been. It's just a very bad feeling. It's like, you know,
These vibes are off, man.
yeah.
Sir John, how's the back? I think Edrich says to someone who was knocked off of his horse by one of the loyalists as he walks in.
You are fucking this up immediately, bro.
Don't worry, it's all good.
All right, and the doors are shut. Like, there's not really anyone. Actually, we'll say that the seneschal's here to mediate, but he keeps at a distance. Like, he's not sitting comfortably with you all. He's sitting with a single guard, like near the doors, and then you guys are all locked in here. The guard says, or the seneschal says, I don't believe I've had a chance to really present myself since earning the position. I am Sir Rofus, a kinsman of the Countess.
A pleasure.
Shall we get on with it?
I believe time is largely of the essence. With that being said, I think Edrich scans the room. He sees people he recognizes and nods to Sir Elroy, Sir Rhodri. Who has Mia brought to represent themselves?
Sir Robert. Sir Robert Demir. And you would know what you know about him if I gave anything to you in the previous write-ups. So you can search that if you want. It's Robert with an H after the R.
Let me give it a quick look. I think as Edrich scans the room, he's quite obviously not going to talk first. Instead, giving people. It's not like he's sizing them up, but rather he's regarding them quietly, fingers steepled together as he has sat down. Sir Robert, a loyal maternal relative to Duke Idaris. Gotcha.
Well, Sir Robert says, let's cut right to the point. I will back any of those named, if need be, or at least Edrich, Erwin, and if Jareth doesn't die.
Hopeful.
That is good of you. And indeed, yes.
In turn, I would expect to be named a Castellan.
And the power plays already begin. Very well, let's get to it. I imagine each of us have a candidate in mind we wish to raise. Except, of course, you, Lord Mayor.
Or I.
Very well, then.
You do not wish to.
My
Sorry,
only concern here is bringing justice to that, to who would have assaulted my lord. I don't care about your politics, I don't care about Salisbury. I just want the killer found.
I have Sir Bar questioning witnesses, and I have my squire looking at the hospital room. Anyone who goes in or out will be noted.
Do you think that will be enough, Sir Edrich? I know you have history as a sheriff, but there is a degree of conflict of interest involved in who you might pick as your arrestee.
When it comes to this matter, there is no reason, quite the opposite, to weaken Salisbury. Sir Jareth and I might have been at odds at times, but he is a remarkable man with very interesting and useful skills that will help Salisbury. Should he fall, Salisbury is weaker. That must not occur. And if it does, we must find that who did it, and, well, that'll be a conversation for a later time.
One that can be made by the Marshal, once
Indeed
one
so.
is been placed into the position.
In that case, if you do not want to push forward the candidacy of Sir Jareth pending his recovery, then it comes down to the Bourne and the Loyalists.
It is no surprise, I would hope, that the Bourne elects Sir Erwin as our representative and our candidate for Marshal. He has proved himself a mighty man and a mighty knight, loved, honorable, and humble. I believe he is the man we need for the future of our county, for the future of Salisbury as a whole.
Can I ask you a question, Bob? Based on what is known of Sir Erwin, it doesn't seem likely that he would instigate or order the assassination of a rival, would it?
Yeah, very correct. Yeah, it seems to be like Gareth, the Winterbourne gunnet,
Mm.
people wouldn't necessarily put it past his capability. He likes to play in intrigue, but not necessarily assassination, right?
Yeah, it's not quite. It's not
yeah.
quite the style.
Erwin, definitely not. Erwin is probably the type that can't play the political game to save his life, right? Like, let's see. He's a bit more straight and narrow, somewhat resemblant of Leo, but perhaps a little less idealistic than Leo would be the way to separate those two. So where Leo was very driven by things that were almost unrealistic, Erwin has no mistake that knights are killers, sworn killers with oaths to leaders, and their job is to fight and die on the battlefield.
Edrich will say, "It is likely no coincidence that the one marked as possibly Jareth's assaulter was disguised, or perhaps embedded within the numbers of the Bourne, but that was likely a way to frame, or in other way, implicate Sir Erwin in it. So that's nothing up against him.
If anything, it is proof that he could not possibly be behind it."
Quite so. Either someone wanting to get him into power, or to discredit him. Either way, nothing against him. For the Loyalists, it is likely no surprise as well that I still remain its leader, and I still put forward my name.
Thus begins the debate.
Indeed. I will say this. My main concern, as it has always been, with the possibility of the Bourne becoming, well, having a figurehead in marshaldom, is that the Bourne Confederacy is already a tightly knit group. A protective treaty, almost, within the heart of Salisbury. But it does not encompass Salisbury as a whole. That which serves them would not necessarily serve the people not based by the river. Should they come to a position where they would be leading, would their loyalties not be divided?
On the contrary, Sir Edrich, the Bourne is very much the heart of Salisbury itself. The Bourne seeks to strengthen all ties within the county, not just along the river. If a member of the Bourne, Sir Erwin, is to become Marshal, it means that we will strengthen our ties at our core, and from then extend outwards to bind us together in eternal unity. That is the goal that the Bourne preaches. That is the goal that Salisbury should search.
And should, for instance, the barony of Duplan be attacked, while at the same time a member of the Bourne is facing raiders on the shore?
We must protect our assets as a people, as a county. We owe our loyalty To the young Count.
If that were the case, why did you not, or why did Owen, not make a bid for leadership of the Loyalists?
I think that would be quite clear. After all, we saw what happens to those who would deny your position as leader of the Loyalists.
Do you believe it was my hands that brought Leo to do such?
Would you prefer my honest answer, or one where we can remain cordial?
I think you underestimate my phlegmatic nature. I would prefer your honest opinion. This is not a matter for double-dealing or for snide remarks.
Very well. I believe you forced his hand in that matter. Had he not done what he had done today, he would have been a wonderful candidate for Marshal. And in truth, your taking the position of leadership over the Loyalists may have been the reason that dashed his possibility of becoming the Marshal from then on. But that is speculation.
Of course, but I will tell you what I told him. Should everything have gone to plan, it would have been the final faction remaining would have decided who the Marshal would have been within themselves. A final contest, whether by words or whether by deed. The best man would have won, whether that be him, whether it be me, or Sobar.
I think your idealism is getting in the way. It is far simpler than that.
You're the first person who said that to me.
Perhaps it's not common, but we all know you are a man of your heart. It is your greatest strength, and in honesty, possibly a failing.
I see.
But that is a personal view. That one cannot be counted as a proper argument.
With that in mind, should the Born pledge to serve the Countess and the young Robert, I see no reason why any of this should be a debate. It's just a matter of who becomes Marshal if we share the same goals. But what does the Born want beyond strengthening ties of unity? Beyond remaining the beating heart of Salisbury? Lily, get off my computer. I'm trying to be dramatic. Sorry.
She's so rambunctious tonight.
As I have said, and will continue to say, the Born is focused on unity, not just along the river, but that is our first steps. In the end, what we all desire is the safety to be able to guide the future of our realm. No matter who's in charge, the Born will continue to support its own and support those around it. Perhaps there is a more altruistic reason if one is to become Marshal. After all, to support his claim and to support everyone else only strengthens our ties together. I cannot say the Born will not be united, no matter what path is chosen. But I can say, under Sir Erwin, perhaps we stand a better chance at a united Salisbury. Without doubt, and without fear.
This is pointless. So long as all of us, all of you, are able to vote for yourself, doesn't matter how much talking we do in circles, we're all going to vote for ourselves. So what we need is something definitive, or we need those who can't vote for themselves to make the vote for us. We're not going to convince each other by simply restating what we all already know of each other and of ourselves again and again until the others relent. We need something definitive.
So, Robert, what are your thoughts?
My thoughts are that we need a strong candidate for the leadership. Beyond that, he shrugs. I stated my piece about Castellan.
Very well.
Based on the current politics of the area, a lot of people died. There'd probably be a lot of castles which would be up for someone being Castellan, right?
Yep, no one's asked a thing about it yet, which surprises me, to be honest. But yeah,
Yeah.
almost every Castellan ship. You guys know a couple of them. You know,
One of them.
our old crew, all the old guys. I'm forgetting their names now, but all the ones that died in like the last couple of years of sort of
Nelius and some of the other dudes.
Yeah.
Grievous Marshal.
Edrich will say, a position as Castellan can easily be arranged. But that is more of a symptom of the times that we live in.
And
You
I would
fought
look
well,
to a proper
both with me
soldier
at the time.
to decide such things.
Indeed. I feel... Well, Sir Elroy did speak true. We can continue to speak about why we would be the best option. But there are matters at work far larger than any of us here at this room, or indeed the causes we represent. We are Salisbury. We should be Logres. But in this splintered and divided land, we must hold to ourselves and be as strong as we can, while of course making sure that our enemies don't sense any weakness. Whatever we choose, it must be unanimous, not just in word, but also in deed. So with that in mind, what would the Born accept in exchange for my candidacy?
What would the Born accept? Greater autonomy as a collective.
What would this look like, politically speaking? And how could a marshal give it?
Oh, I'm sure Sir Owen would truly be worthy of a castellanship.
That we have no doubt. Sir Owen is a good knight and a great leader.
But I might also suggest an alternative as well. Would not you make a good castellan? A mighty warrior? One of your own peers, my brother, is a baron of his own lands. I think it would be fitting if you would be made in similar. You could be a great pillar within our community, someone for us to look up to follow behind as you march off into battle.
Would not a marshal serve the same presence but larger, Sir Rhodri?
Indeed. But a marshal has a different inclination.
That is precisely the point that I was going to bring up. Sir Owen is a good, and I would say, perhaps, not to belabor the point, kind-hearted. He is a strong man. Second, right behind first, I suppose, now that Leah has vacated, in principles and in judgment. But this is not a time where we can face our enemies like the Saxons of old. They have evolved, and our enemies are everywhere. We have faced assassination right here, the very heart of our power. We need someone, and ideally, this would have been Jareth's network, who could see these things coming and who could identify these threats.
You are right. The Saxons are our enemy.
Indeed so. Be they to the south or to the east, I think like Edrich
Or-
like clocked.
yeah.
Oh, he's probably mentioned.
And then he
fighting,
goes-
isn't he?
or within our own homes.
If I might interrupt, the seneschal chimes in from the side.
Of course.
My instructions from the Countess are that should this room be unable to make a decision upon their own, that at the suggestion of a vote to all be named, that the knights of this 100 decide their marshal. But I've
Well,
also
like a
been
democracy?
listening to this banter, as it will, and I should note that the first order of any good marshal would be to name the castellans of the castles. And I happen to know that they are all currently vacant.
Quite so.
Perhaps an opportunity then. If a vote is held, whoever is agreed to not earn the place of marshal still be offered a position as castellan. An agreement between potential candidates, if we can reach this as a possible option. That way neither of us lose faith and both of us earn something. A reward for fighting as we have. Proving ourselves as mighty warriors, leaders, and champions of Salisbury.
Robert. Oh, go ahead.
And it'll be a gesture of trust, as it will be a strong position for someone to put his enemies.
If
I
I'm
think
to say
Robert will
something-
chime in with
Oh,
that
sorry,
point
of course.
immediately and say, looking right at Elroy as he speaks, and he says, "So interesting to hear of a loyal knight of Sir Jareth. I should ask then, what if Sir Jareth is not to live through? What then will be the reward for Newton Manor's participation in this? Who will be the recipient? I would hope it be someone loyal to Salisbury." You can tell he's like kind of throwing some shade at Elroy, like, because it's like he's loyal to Jareth, but is he loyal to Salisbury? Is the comment he's making there.
Elroy kind of shrugs and he goes, "The land and responsibilities will go to his family, and it'll be up to his family to decide. I'm not here to argue for positioning or posturing. I'm here to find a resolution to this so that I might gain aid in tracking down his killer, should he not
Of course.
survive." And I think he's like, there's not like a lot of like grit to that. He's not angry for the shade, but I think he goes, "Listen to what I have to say. I don't position myself or Newton Manor in a stronger place. I want this conversation over, and I want it over as quickly as possible. The two most viable options in the room are obviously the Born and the Loyalists. They should have the most pull on terms of castles. Make each other offers, and then give the rest to us. Something valuable. I don't care. So long as it ends the conversation quickly."
I will say this, Sir Rhodri. And though it might not make the negotiation easier, it is nonetheless true. I don't need castles. I need to serve Salisbury. And I believe I can do so best as Marshal.
Then I say we are at an impasse. We shall take it to the vote among the many knights and lords of our land. They will decide our futures.
They
However,
make the same considerations about autonomy.
a same agreement goes for all of us. Whoever is not made marshal shall receive castellanship of one of the many castles we have left. Of course, honoring those in this room first. It is only fair. We have earned such things. Have we not, Sir Robert?
So Robert smiles. Indeed, we have. Sir Robert, by the way, is, I believe, a baron, too. It's worth noting.
Yeah.
So.
Can
Let's
you
say-
agree to this, Sir Edrich?
You are certain you wanted to go to a popularity contest to the people outside?
One of you has to give, Edrich.
Either you agree to it, Edrich, or let's face it, I take my time and convince Robert here to side with me. And seeing as our other friend over there isn't quite partial to either, I think I can convince him to side with me as well.
Ooh! Pause for a second while I roll some traits. Oh, that's not good for you, Thomas.
Yeah, that's
Oh
not rated.
my God.
Oh my god!
That's
Oh
kind
my
of funny.
God!
That is incredible.
That's fucking
That's
wild.
So good. 1 in 400.
Okay, who are we trusting there, Elroy?
That was prompted specifically on, I think, Elroy's gut reaction would have been, boy, don't like the way that snake's playing this game. I'm immediately gonna throw my hat in with Edrich in response, like, as, like, a thing of, like,
Yeah.
no, let's do a vote just in this room, and I'm going with Edrich, you know? But based on that roll,
Yeah.
I think he hears Rhodri say that, and he goes, yeah.
Really?
I'm gonna
With
roll
that-
roll a d6 for me. Let's see what with a crit on trusting, we're gonna have a directed trait here towards Rhodri. All right,
Trusting, Sir
trusting-
Robert.
So good.
yeah, trusting Rhodri +3.
Insane thing for any character to have.
It's fucking
Oh,
wild.
God, it's
Jesus.
remarkable. It's so good.
Trusting Rhodri. Wow.
Is it? He seems like a nice guy. I don't know.
Yeah.
So.
Well then, Sir Edrich,
Yeah.
what is your
I think-
answer?
I think Edrich will turn to Sir Robert and go, Sir Robert, your lands, they wouldn't happen to be on the Bourne, would they?
No, of course not. To the east. Or, sorry, to the west, he says.
In that case, separate from the lands which they wish to protect more greatly. Should they be martial, Sir Erwin's loyalties will be to the Bourne, and not to the lands outside, regardless of which castellanships are given away. I see a larger field. The world does not revolve around a single river. And indeed, you don't just have to get one castellanship. Vote for me. We can sort this out. And indeed, Sir Rhodri, matters of the Bourne's autonomy can be discussed. You already, under Sir Roderick, in an unofficial capacity, went on patrols together, yes, combining forces alongside the river. These matters can be made official.
Sir Robert's eyes look over to Rhodri. It's like, because basically it's like, they look over to Rhodri the moment Edric's like, and you don't need to have more, or just one castellanship. Then he's like,
Mm-hmm.
ding, ding, ding. He's like,
Mm-hmm.
You got anything to up that ante, basically, is the look he's giving Rhodri. That you're under threat of making a king here if you give him anything more than that, or you don't
Yeah,
mean it.
exactly.
Like you give him any more ground, he's already
It's already a baron.
He's
yeah.
already a potential threat.
Oh yeah, Edrich knows.
Yeah.
Yeah, he serves a foreign duke, really.
Exactly.
I'm not trying to make this incredibly Game of Thrones, but also Anarchy.
It's
kinda makes it
incredibly
Game of Thrones.
fucking
Yeah.
Game of Thrones, though. Dear Robert, you have always been someone that struck me as a good, honest, and strong man. You who could be a powerful warrior, a great leader should you just have the armies necessary. A castellanship would earn you such armies. 2, and you find yourself stretching pretty thin. As well, imagine the nightmare of inheritance. If you have more than one son, you'll find your family squabbling over it for many generations. You need time to build up. I think that we can offer you the castellanship quite easily, and perhaps you can earn your own one. You know, it's not uncommon to hear of barons working their way up to being their own warlord. Salisbury could always use more land, and if you want to take it in our name, the Bourne will do everything we can to protect you and the great assets of our county.
So you're promising to back incursions into foreign lands in a particularly unstable political environment?
We're promising to protect our assets, our people, and those who are loyal to Salisbury. And what are you offering? Perhaps you would like to offer him a king's ransom as well while you're at it.
No, I'm surprisingly short of those.
All right. I'm gonna move us to the next point, I think. So at this point, the seneschal says, "Well then, let's see if we've progressed at all in today's endeavor." And I'm gonna start with Edrich and Rhodri doing an intrigue off, reminding you that you may impassion if you wish.
I am impassioning my love of family.
Yeah,
I'm impassioning my love of family.
This is for Robert specifically. I don't think this affects Elroy.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Man, we're both rolling insanely. It's gonna be wild.
We're both very good at this. I think we're equal at this. So
We are. This is literally up to the fucking dice.
Yeah, it's evenly matched.
All right.
Okay, I rolled bad. Natural 8.
Crit.
There you go. Natural 14.
Whew. Fuck, man. rough.
Yeah.
All right. So they turn first to the seneschal Sir Rofus turns to everyone and says, "We'll run through the list then. You all have one vote and one vote only. We'll look first to those in favor of Sir Jareth de Newton or his family should he pass. Does anyone raise their hand?"
Nope.
No.
He's one wounded man.
Good. That eliminates that. Now, any in favor of Sir Robert de Mere? Please raise your hand. No one raises their hand. Okay. Very well. Sir Edrich de Winterbourne Stoke.
I think in this moment, Edrich will... Because at the very least, if it goes to another battlefield, Edrich can possibly win. Edrich is going to do his best to... Oh, wait. Is this the time for, like, further negotiation or, like, last-minute statements? Or is that over?
I think this is just the vote.
This is a vote, but you could. I mean, no
Say what you
one's
want.
duct taped you. Yeah, here. It's not really.
Tackle him!
Yeah, it's not really
Yeah.
a
The bailiff,
like
no.
a proper moment to. But if you have something short,
Yeah.
you could make a short comment, right? Like,
I think Edrich is going to turn to Sir Elroy, and he's going to say, I've solved murders and mysteries before. I've caught them. I've killed them. The person you hunt will be found, and I can do so better as Marshal. I vote for myself.
Give me a moment, Mr. Bob.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta test two things. My plan is to test trusting Rhodri now, my new directed trait,
Yeah.
versus loyalty Lord.
Yeah, that's fair.
If you get another crit, it's gonna be so good.
I will do trusting first.
Okay.
All right, not looking good for you, Mark. If that was a success on trusting, that could have still lost.
Yeah.
I think there's a moment of hesitation, and you can see that despite the fact that Elroy has not been talking very much, I think you see in his eyes as he's kind of looking around, considering all of the facts at the table, that he very much has understood everything that's happened here and has been able to follow the He's not just some guy that ended up here by happenstance. He's good at this. And I think there's a moment where he does, in fact, raise his hand.
And it will continue on then.
Mm-hmm.
The assumption is, but they clarify it all in favor of Sir Erwin. And that is Erwin and Rhodri who raise their hand. So Rufus sighs and says, "Very well then. We will record the conversations regarding any promises of Castellan and move forward with the vote."
Quite so. Inside Edric's head, he's like, okay, this is the second best scenario. This way, I don't have to give anything anyone anything if I lose, and also if they win, it's on their ass.
Yeah, it didn't go unfucking noticed, I'll tell you that much.
Yes.
Give me an intrigue roll.
Are we still impassioned?
God damn it. Never mind. Remember that thing I said about him being competent? Fuck it. It's gone. It's out.
The weirdest time. The weirdest time.
I can't believe I just did a whole... This is such my luck. I just did a whole thing about how he's actually pretty good at intrigue, and then of course I get a fumble.
You get a fumble. Are we still impassioned?
No. Not for this.
Okay.
Make that a one-time thing.
Yeah.
Success.
Sometimes it lasts for an hour. Sometimes the vibe is just right for just one single roll, and I think that works here.
It might make sense. Elroy's mind was on something different. When he mentions the record about Castellanship, you guys are like, oh, that's weird for a third party. It's such a nice thing for a third party to do. But then you remember someone specifically saying that everyone in the room had a right to Castellanship.
Mm-hmm.
He, too, is considering himself in this room.
He can argue that if he'd like.
Yeah. What was his name?
Sir Rufus.
Sir Rufus. Did he fight?
Sir Rufus.
No, he's a seneschal.
I don't think he did.
Okay, he didn't fight. Good to know.
Perhaps in the interests of clarity, it should be the candidates. After all, there are numerous guards here, and though your service is exemplary, he nods to some of them. I feel it would muddy the conversation somewhat.
Right. Well, I'll simply record what was said, and then we can move forward. I'll add that to the notes at the bottom.
Quite so. I think Edrich will... he's going to, kind of nod and smile, but it doesn't reach his eyes, and he just looks at him.
I think, yeah.
And he looks at him, and he looks at him.
At which point, Rhodri pats Edrich on the shoulder, going, "Yes, of course. The words we use are quite important." And he also smiles, but there's no mirth there.
Okay, so we've done that scene. Now we're gonna zoom in on some vignettes, and we're gonna kind of focus on a few characters that will help us tell the story before we move on to the next point. We are gonna check back in with Edrich. actually, we're gonna check with Florence here first.
Okay.
Now the question is, Florence kind of separated himself from Cornwall for the summer, was the plan. But then quickly got eliminated from the tourney. So what does that mean for Florence? Where is he at now, given the plans went awry? I'd assume that he at least held the market potential that he wouldn't survive into the late rounds. So what was his backup plan, if he had one at all?
His backup plan was to conversate with any mercenary knights, seeing what their price is and whether or not they'd be willing to help him in defending his lands.
Okay.
Or rightfully his.
Okay. And are you doing so in Salisbury, or are you returning to Cornwall? Are you returning to the lands?
Originally he was going to go home, but after the person he was conniving with was fucking stabbed, he's going to stick around to see if he survives. And if he dies, he's going to fuck off back to Cornwall. If he lives, they might have a brief scene where he tells him, I'm fucking off back to Cornwall.
Okay.
If he dies...
Because he certainly doesn't feel safe. If this is happening...
Choice.
No.
The illusion of choice. Either way, he's going to Cornwall.
Either way, he's fucking off.
You get pulled into a conversation because the Lady Ellen is attending to an aged Duke Ulfius, and you are brought in for that conversation.
All right.
So I'm just trying to grab his stuff. Give me one sec. All right. So you come into a retinue. It's Ulfius, who looks bad. Like, he looks aged compared to the last time you saw him. Completely white and gray, about 10 pounds less. So probably better than, the last time you saw Roderick alive. So there's always that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's standing on his own accord, but it's clear that he's weaker. To his side is his son, Ufo, and Lady Flior. Oh, one more too. One more. Gwigon is also here.
All right. Florence makes his way to the room, nodding appropriately, giving a slight bow to those who are deserving of it. But his main attention would be on the Duke.
The Countess is here, as is Kibno, because he wasn't as drawn into all of this as some of the others. So is Erwin. So you find out that Erwin was doing this, and that's why he didn't want to participate in the other thing. And finally, strangely enough, for the first time, you see Lady Jenna, the tween, now involved in this. Lady Ellen turns to you and says, Sir Florence, I'm glad you were able to make it.
Of course, my lady. I am always here in support of my homeland.
The Duke here was just updating us on matters. I'll let him bring you up to speed. Duke Ulfius nods. Thank you, milady. I was just telling the Countess that our status in the March or in the Vale is a bit different than the last time we spoke. Given the turmoil and the lack of a Logres king that's worthy of serving, we've been placed in a difficult position between South Seax, Kent, East Seax, and of course, as you know, Wessex.
Florence visibly grumbles at the mention of Wessex.
We have opted, not under any oath of fealty, but as a rightful partner and ally, to side with South Seax and King Ele.
I see. He wouldn't happen to have plans of wiping out Wessex from the map?
There is certainly a bit of like turmoil, right? As that's mentioned too. It's like, what? Not what people were hoping for, to say the least. And I just want to verify that I didn't mess that up. Give me 1 sec. I want to check my note here. Yeah, King Ale.
No. Florence really has a thing against Wessex, if it's not obvious
Wessex
enough.
suck.
Indeed. I believe that King Ele has been here a long time, almost as long as King Ace, and I've found him to be a formidable opponent, but also one who might be acquainted with our island. You'd note that those of Barrack and your very sire have grown to become part of this island.
That is true enough.
We are in a place of war. Make no mistake, Sir Florence, Lady Ellen. It's for that reason that we must choose a side. And so we have. I've come here, under our alliance, to recommend that you might do the same. There has been conflict between Salisbury and Silchester. No rivalry. I would hate to see us end up on opposing sides of battle.
Of course, that is understandable. It is important that those of us who are left are at least loyal to each other. If not, give each other a fair shake.
Lady Ellen listens and nods.
I take it there's more to this than a simple warning of goodwill. What's the real reason for your visit?
The Saxon kings are angry with each other. We're aware that those of East Seax and Wessex have sent emissaries to Salisbury. In council with King Ele, I thought it wise to come here ourselves and make a bid. We ask not for your tribute, only that you don't side with the enemies.
I don't see why that wouldn't be agreeable.
Lady Ellen nods. I've already promised to the people that a small council will assist me in making these decisions, and that council is currently busy. Duke Ulfius, Sir Jareth of Newton. He may pass this day after an accident.
Yes,
We asked.
accident.
She looks at Florence like, really don't need to bring that up in front of him, but she kind of smiles and says, I will need time before we send any sort of response, of course, about our stance. Perhaps I will send an emissary to you in well, perhaps Easter would give me time to deal with the matters at hand and bring my small council together at Christmas. He nods. You can tell he's not super happy to hear that, and he says, very well. Lady Ellen, I trust your judgment. You're a good countess, and I expect you to look over your lands. Well then. And with that, he'll depart. I think we'll kind of, well, not necessarily fade from that scene. We'll leave you a moment if you need to say anything to Ellen.
Just a little bit. Yeah. He'd probably turn to Ellen as they leave and go, is that really the only reason he came all the way here?
Duke Ulfius was someone that knew my father very well. I suspect it's more of a warning than the way he presented it. They don't ask for tribute yet.
Right. You know, with his son being here, I almost thought it was going to be something wonderful, like a marriage proposal. Oh well.
There's a look from the various people in the room to Lady Jenna, and Lady Jenna just kind of slinks back down a little bit. Like, nope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that Florence goes, no pressure on the young lady, but she's almost of age. It should be considered. Sorry, dear. Just thinking for the future.
All right. With that, we're gonna swap. We're gonna figure some stuff out. It's Virgil time.
Yeah.
Virgil time. Virgil time.
It's Virgil o'clock.
Let's find out how mad he's gone and where he's gone to. So,
I love that moment where Virgil said it's Virgiling time, and he Virgils all over the place.
Virgil's all over everybody there.
God,
Yeah.
I hate it when he Virgils over people.
Where are you, Sir Leaf, you big fucking nerd? Where's my goddamn money?
I believe you ended up with 6 days of madness.
I believe that is correct.
Okay. So in your madness, I want you to roll a d8, and I want you to roll it 6 times.
This is how many men you've killed.
5, 8, 2, 3, 8, 5. I'm getting such a good grade in madness.
Something that's normal to want and possible to achieve.
Wow, a 31 and hate everyone. What a passion.
I mean, that's what Perin was with hate Uther.
Right, okay. So we're just gonna see where the hell you go off to. All right. Let's see where you end up. It'll be kind of amusing. Because you're
Hangover,
writing literally
Pendragon edition.
under intrigue, or sorry, under madness. You're writing like out of instinct is what I meant to say, right? Like it's almost like the madness takes hold, and you end up practically feral in your response.
Did he
So
get
you're-
Did he get to deck Sir Leaf? Because he would have done that if he
Yeah.
was able to.
Yeah, I think that happens. But
That
you're
explains
almost.
why within the feast hall he had 2 black eyes.
I think you deck Sir Leaf, and that you probably wouldn't have stopped there, except for you people started to move to detain you.
Maybe
And
they
then
they tried to drag me off and I got away. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's definitely what it looked like. I think
Yeah.
he probably like turned around, saw Virgil, and then in seconds he was in the mud, just fist, right? Very good.
Mhm.
Uh,
All right.
and now he's lost.
Yeah, indeed. All right. So you head south at first, which is always good because you're going to end up a day's ride south of Sarum will put you right in the forest, which is wonderful.
Uh-oh.
So I don't even think we need the other days. What kind of 8, 2, all right. Oh boy, yeah. Okay.
Uh-oh.
You're lost in the forest right now, or let's see if you're lost in the forest. As you stir to, which spoilers. You rode south right into Camelot Forest, and then you're positioning like a clock. This is a D8 to figure out where you're at, rather than quarters you're using you ended up basically kind of traipsing around, originally going west and then heading more east. So we're gonna give you a Lost in the Forest attempt. Let's start with hunting first. If you succeed at hunting, you'll end up on a road somewhere and be able to kind of right yourself in return. Okay. Thought so?
Nah,
All
dog.
right. Yeah. Okay, let me pull up Lost in the Forest.
What's a road? Never
Road?
seen a road before in my life.
It's the past tense of when you go on a boat.
Road work ahead? Yeah, I sure hope it does.
D20 roll,
Charlie.
good sir.
Andrew Gooden's here.
On a D20?
That is an 8, sire.
Okay. Okay. And another D20.
When you rolled the 31 at first, I thought for sure you were going to end up in France.
15, sir.
Okay, let's see. And another D20.
A 13, sire.
Okay. As you kind of come to, you realize that you really haven't had much in the way of food for days. And you're starving. You have your horse, you have everything you need. Minus your squire, who wasn't able to keep up with you.
Can't eat my squire.
Or maybe it was one of the people you decked.
It's likely, honestly.
Yeah. You see a fallow deer ahead.
I'm gonna eat that deer. I don't think Virgil has any of his long-ranged stuff, so I guess he's just gonna try to lance it, like do a cavalry charge at it.
Yeah, right. Well, it's a spear, so you can 100% like.
Yeah.
Down. All right. Why don't you give me give me a horsemanship roll and don't fumble.
What did he just say? What did he just say, Liam?
Virgil's supposed to be good at things, you guys.
I believe you. I believe you.
Oh boy.
I think this is the first time you've ever said "don't fumble" and it actually happened.
It actually
too.
happened. Yeah.
Saddest little man on the planet, Virgil.
I think this is going to be one of those things where you end up like right on the river and you're thrown, and you end up right in the water. You take 2 damage because there's still rocks and stuff underneath. No big deal. But you get up and you realize you're hungry and that deer is long gone.
I think Virgil just screams like one of those screams that you're like, Jesus, are his vocal cords gonna be okay? and he draws his sword and just starts smashing at the water for a little while, like a real temper tantrum behavior, just like thrashing, right?
100%. Give me another d20.
$16.
Okay. You see a couple figures come out around you. You can tell that they are very much the bandit-y type. They look like, basically just from they have some simple weapons in front of them. They have really poor gear. And the fact that they got big grins as they kind of come about you and surround you at this little brook of a river that you landed in.
How many are there?
3.
Perfect. That's the perfect number. I think Virgil kind of stands and turns and faces them, and there's just a moment where the temper tantrum turns to a really maniacal laugh, like something that you'd hear from somebody that's completely insane. And he just grins wide and he goes, "My honor compels me to give you a chance to walk away, but I pray that you don't. I really, really hope you don't."
No 20s, so they all stay. They think they got the upper hand. They all have like simple spears as they move to surround you.
Good. Then let's relieve some tension. And he's gonna charge him. he's gonna charge him. He's gonna try to kill.
Okay. Remind you are off your horse and in water.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
You'll take a -2 from being in the water. So if you want to clear out of that, you can. You just have to. You have to make a dex test, and you could slip if you try to like get up the embankment. Cool.
I would like to attempt that. Okay. He's not great at dex, but that's something that he would like to try to position himself for.
Yeah.
Can I impassion first and still get it on my sword?
Yeah.
Cool. What the fuck can I even apply to this?
You just said honor.
That's true. I did say honor, but that was to let them live.
Yeah.
All right, that is a success on honor.
Okay. All right. You feel yourself again for the first time in days, and you climb naturally up the embankment.
I am going to split on 2 of them.
Okay.
And I think I'll let the third one take a hit on me.
Okay. All right. Let us resolve that. You can roll it twice. Make sure you're using your honor bonus. I'm assuming you are.
Yarp.
Okay. Okay, so first one fails against you, so you succeed. Second one
Very good.
Doesn't crit, so you'll succeed. And third one does land a hit on you. So let's resolve damage on those first 2. Keeping in mind that they don't have shields or very good armor. / almost nothing.
But you forgot that I'm rolling damage, though, Bob. That's 4 1s in that.
I mean, without a shield and without good armor, that's still bad for you.
That's bad for them, yeah.
For them, yeah.
So the first one gets cut pretty deep. As he moves the spear, you end up like slashing across his arm, and he's like, ah. Let's see what the second one looks like for damage.
Much better.
Much better.
Against fucking Johnny No Legs over here. I'm rolling really good.
You drop this guy. Do you want to describe how you drop this one? He's not like dead, but
Yes.
he's like unconscious and dying kind of thing.
I think like there's definitely a moment where it's very noticeable that he completely turns his back on one of them. Like it's very much a thing that I think a more experienced fighter would go, "Oh, this guy's got no regard for his own life. That's frightening," you know? As he he only gets he has a pretty deep slash, but not a super major one on the first guy, or not like a super kill blow. On the second guy, though, I think he actively like kind of pushes the other guy, like throws the other guy away, grabs the second guy, and like legit like stab, headbutt, and then twists the blade and pulls it out like sideways, just really like ruining this guy's chest cavity, you know?
Yeah, apparently. Yeah, he kind of topples over and he's bleeding out basically at this point. The third one will hit you. Ooh, that actually
That's
wasn't bad.
Pretty good.
Yeah,
Not
so
bad.
minus your armor. We'll assume you were wearing your armor still.
Yep. Well, he left pretty much directly from
that's what
combat
I mean.
stuff.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So that would be 7 damage.
Mhm.
Ugh, ain't shit. That ain't shit.
Hey, Virgil, my wife and I, we saw you across the room and we really...
Yeah, so he sticks it enough into your chain that you can see the chain starting to dye with red, enough to draw blood. Far from anything but stinging.
Give me more. Give me something worth doing.
All right, and that leaves you 2 opponents.
Cool.
Let's see if either flee.
They better not. They better fucking not.
Nope, they both stay. Yeah.
Attaboys.
I drew blood, mate. I think we could do this.
Yeah, 100%.
Get up, Bill.
All right, I will split for them as well. I'll take them both on.
All right.
That is not great, but it's something. And that is also not great. I'll get shield on both of them though, so I like if I had shield, that last guy would have done 1 damage to me. Like,
Okay, so we observed their weapon skills of 10 and 8 prior, and that's what they're gonna stay with.
Mhm.
Yep. Oh.
Oh, one of them beats me.
First
one
will
does.
connect. The second one does not. Or yeah,
You hit him.
beat him. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So you can give me your damage on.
Second one.
Yeah, second one. So the one that drew blood prior, you turn on him, and you do you want to describe what you do?
Yes. I think there's a moment of this isn't gonna be exactly sword, but I think it works. I think there's a moment where like the guy charges him, and Virgil kind of like gets under him and like pushes up so that the guy goes kind of flying a little bit upwards and into the water. And I think Virgil just stomps on his head with his boot and drowns the man as the other guy is fighting him.
So you're like holding them down right now.
Legit, yeah, holding him under the water, forcing him to drown.
The other one takes that opportunity and does 1 point of damage to you as he sticks you in a part where you're heavily armored.
No, with the
Oh,
shield,
he
it does
that.
nothing.
It's my shield
you,
bonus.
you raise your shield and kind of effortlessly block his spear strike.
While his friend drowns.
Making full eye contact with him as you stomp on the guy's head underwater.
Legitimately. As like the guy stops underneath him, stops to move, Virgil turns towards the first guy who's still injured, and he goes, "Blood for blood, dirtbag. Give me what you got. Make this worth my time."
The before you even did that, so I rolled to see and I gave him a bonus because you're drowning his friend. He realizes that you've got to either make the choice to continue drowning his friend or chase after him. So he takes off, saying one friend's bleeding out and the other one being detained. He's not ready for a one-on-one situation.
I'm throwing my sword at him. I'm legit throwing my sword at him.
Okay.
I
Sword
don't need
or
it to kill
dagger?
him. I don't need it to kill him. I just need it to slow him down so I can strangle him to death.
Okay.
You probably have a better time throwing a dagger
a
than you
dagger
would
or
a
a
sword.
spear would
I
work
have
better.
a 5 in dagger. I have
What's your
a
spear?
21 in sword. I would rather take a penalty on sword than throw dagger.
It's gonna be a big one. Like swords aren't meant to really go end over end, and I know movies do it
Do I
sometimes.
have? Yeah, no, more
But they're
less
not
end
weighted
over
to
end
be
and
like
more.
that.
He's gonna
Yeah.
chuck it more like a spear. You know, I now do I have? I don't have a spear on me. I don't think because they don't like clip onto my back, and I've been like my spear would likely be on my horse or where I fell.
You probably had one because you were hunting.
Yeah, but it would have. I wouldn't be still holding on to it, right? Because I've got a shield in one hand, my sword in the other, and it does. A spear wouldn't clip onto my back. It'd be somewhere in the water where I fell, and I kind of moved away from there.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's true. Well,
Yeah.
you got the dying guy's spear.
Oh, I
So-
do. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
gonna pick that up.
Yes, that's entirely correct.
Yeah.
Virgil will kick that up and chuck it at the
Okay.
guy.
All right. So we'll assume. I mean, he's just running. His avoidance is 5, so you're gonna take a 5 off your spear skill, and if you roll that successfully, you just hit him. He doesn't get to dodge it or anything.
Yep. Okay. Then I'm going to take it normally because I have my impassion.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see here. So that'll be your base damage.
All right.
So he's like running away, and then all of a sudden it's just like right through his neck, and he just like takes a step forward. It's like from his point of view as he like pitches forward, falls over dead.
Virgil stands and kind of like wipes his face, wipes some of the blood off of his face, pulls the spear out, and goes and retrieves his things and starts to look for his horse. And I think there's a moment where like he kind of dips his hand into the water, and like for the first time in a couple of days, he feels like the buzzing has left his head.
Gotcha.
What you rolling dice for there, Bob?
That is your glory. You got 24 glory, feeling 3.
Oh, nice.
I'll write that down.
Right, and I'm just checking one thing here.
I think the correct term is brutalizing.
No, it's only brutalizing if they're people. They're just bandits. They're not even commoners.
Well, they probably were commoners. That's why they're bandits.
Fair enough. This is pest control.
All right,
Commoners are superior in only one aspect.
I'll get another hunting roll from you.
I don't get to keep my impassion, do I?
You kind of will actually for this one. So. Well,
He's
that's
feeling so much better now,
So he
Sir
is.
Elder.
Now that he's killed some guys.
You follow,
Legitimately.
Yeah. You follow the creek up a ways, and you realize that you're likely in Camelot Forest, specifically on the Avon River. So if you were to follow up the east bank of it, it would lead you all the way back to Fault and eventually up to Sarum.
Perfect. He still hasn't eaten. So I think he takes maybe a couple of quick little stops on the way and uses that spear that he just used to kill a man and maybe spearfishes with it, just something to get in his stomach. Or he'll check them for supplies and see if they have any rations on them, but I doubt it.
Yeah, the rations are unfortunately soggy, all of them. But you end up, you can do another hunting roll. This one will be unpassioned. Make sure you check hunting, by the way.
It's already checked. Hey, good job, Virgil. I'm so proud of you.
Yeah, so we'll say that you got some kind of minor game. I think probably that's spearing fish. You probably found something small like a hare, right? That you're able
Sure.
to kill.
Just
and then
something.
yeah, and then we'll go with another D20. You're gonna have one more encounter before you leave this forest. Well, you're gonna have one more potential encounter.
I'll be back in a moment.
Yep.
9.
Nothing. You're going to end up wandering by default. You're gonna default lands and eventually into Laverstock, and then up the Bourne River. So,
Born. That word makes me angry for some reason.
Yep. All right. I think we're gonna take a break real quick, just like a 2-minute one, and we'll come in, do a couple more scenes, and see where we get to for night. All right. See y'all in a bit. And we're back. It just dawned on me while I was coming back into the room that Sir Virgil was like the hot gossip for about 12 hours till Sir Leo murdered someone. It's like,
Yeah.
you see the way
Mm.
you see the way Virgil left? Like, oh man, what a big
Honestly,
deal. And it's like,
excellent. It's kind of excellent for Virgil because his shame is probably going to be pretty overshadowed by that. Not a lot of people are going to be
Yeah.
like, people will obviously, it's a relatively small community. People will still talk about it, but like not to the same degree, you know?
Mm.
They do, in fact, because I think you got 100 glory for that. So that is a memorable
Yeah.
moment for
Oh,
you.
yeah.
Like, you rode off, people like, oh, do you see the way he hit Sir Leaf on the way out?
Say Lou,
Decked him right on the way out, yeah.
Fucking
a
got him.
lot. He hit him like several times.
Yeah.
He made his
Edrich
own
passing,
squire
hearing
pee his
those rumors,
pants.
going, good.
Was that 100
Virgil-
glory or was that just a joke?
I think we-
It's
Going
already
Madness
included.
Is 100
Yeah.
glory. I already
Yeah.
gave it to you.
the
Yeah, but I
session-
gotta log it on my thing too.
Yeah, but you might have already logged it.
I don't
Right.
think so. It's not on my stuff.
Alright.
Fair enough.
Okay, so as the days progress, roughly, we're gonna zoom in on Edrich for a minute because he had a connection. You find out that there is a knight of Newton Manor that is missing. Oh, that'd be really interesting. Give me a second. No, because
Of course.
Kenrick fought for the Loyalists, so no, that's not gonna work. Okay, so Kenrick, not to be confused with Sir Kenrick, was
Good man.
seen, hasn't been seen, like hasn't done his check-in basically in the post account of things. Was seen on the battlefield. People remember seeing his coat of arms. They remember seeing him on the battlefield, but no one remembers seeing him since.
Did anyone see him leave or do anything?
No one really remembers, like whether he left or not. They just remember that he was accounted for and on the battlefield and then gone.
Who are Kenneric's friends and accomplices?
I think you could get those names easy enough.
I think Edrich is going to, like, while he's waiting for the vote, he's mostly just, like, trying to compose in his head, and he's like, as a slayer, sir the giant, as a knight of the sword. Ah, hello, sir. And he's just going to try to ask about Kenrick, see if he can find any of his friends and see if he was acting strangely or where he might be, or if he mentioned where he was going.
Let's test, because there's no like investigation. Let's get you to test intrigue. The fact there isn't an investigation skill in this by the group that made Call of Cthulhu tells you that they know that they want this to be a different game. So
Indeed.
Yeah.
Success.
Okay. You end up poking around and you find out that Sir Kenrick is he was a bit of a loner. He's like a cousin to Jareth and Jaren. Like a distant one, second or third cousin. He was a household knight of Newton Manor. He really doesn't have any friends. He has colleagues almost, right? And everyone's kind of like, yeah, we know him. Like soft-spoken guy, a bit overweight, fights well though, right? Like it's kind of what you're getting about him. Doesn't seem to really have any major like standout points about him at all. Really, he's just kind of a knight, yeah, a knight loyal to the cause, loyal to his lord.
He didn't have any proclivities, any places he frequented? No hobbies?
Well, he loved He loved his horse. He loved horseback riding. He loved spending time in the stables.
Where is his horse?
Good point. You end up at the stable master's. He's gone. The horse is gone.
Did anyone take the horse?
Well,
Presumably they must have, of course, but did they sign for it, I suppose?
so you know kind of this protocol because you were a constable for a short time yourself. And other than things being on lockdown for that first day, there wasn't really any reason, like any knight could come in and claim their horse and leave, right? The stable boy would probably be the best person to interrogate, as it is.
The door to the stable house opens and Edrich strides in. Boy!
Yeah. Ah. Yeah. Okay. So you're gonna inquire about that.
Yes. All the while in his head, he's like, I have met a number of you in the field of battle, and I'm proud to consider you my allies. But outwardly, he's. And so, when did you see the horse retrieved, if at all?
I saw a knight riding away under moonlight. The
Did
two
you get a
nights
good look at
after.
it? 2 nights after.
Indeed, 2 nights after. I didn't, but he left this. And he goes and he retrieves a coat of arms. Like a shield, sorry, with a coat of arms on it.
Do I recognize it?
Heraldry.
Full disclosure, if I don't, I'm going outside and asking until someone does.
Yeah.
There is someone you know who's very good at heraldry.
I think. And he left this with you for what purpose? Under what context?
Oh, he didn't leave it with me. He left it in the stables. I assume, anyways. After he rode away, I found it.
I see. Well, thank you very much, boy. Here's a tuppence. And I'm going to awkwardly hand him 2 denarii.
Okay. Well, he nods. Just happy to help, my lord.
Glad to hear it.
Where do you go with this knowledge?
Edrich is going to go to the people who are more, if not personable, then knowledgeable. And indeed, Rhodri, are you famous at heraldry? Or is Florence famous at heraldry?
Let me have a look. Both of them are good at it.
Who would
You'd
Edrich
probably.
trust first?
Yeah, who would you trust? I can tell you, neither of them are famous, but they are known. Like their house, Idmiston, is known for their heraldry, and taking good pride in it.
I think Edrich will try to seek out Florence.
All right. Yeah, Florence is less of an opponent currently than Rhodri is, probably. And things.
Oh,
I don't know Rhodri's capabilities.
Okay.
But Edrich likes Florence a lot more.
You
Not
find
that he doesn't
Florence.
like Rhodri, of course.
Florence is probably sitting down somewhere with a drink in his hand that he's not really sipping on. He's just holding it. Ah, Edrich!
Florence, it's good to see you.
You as well, my friend.
I have a question.
Yes?
Do you recognize... I probably could have gone into more formalities first, but do you recognize this heraldry? It was left in the stables.
Find out. Because I'm helping out my friend, could I impassion myself loyalty sort of victory?
Sure.
Ooh. Hell yeah.
Success. Add 5 to this. 3. 5. 13.
Very nice.
All right. Yes, you see. Let's see if I even have that up. Do I have Oh, yeah, there it is. It is anything of note. Animal. Let's see what animal it is on that. A hawk.
Hawk.
White and silver and purple. So silver and purple. We'll say it's a silver hawk on a purple.
Purple
whatever you call it.
plain.
There you go. Thank you. Solid partition, and we'll say it's a single hawk. You recognize that. You recognize that being one of Newton Manor's men.
Oh, that's one of the men of Newton Manor, I believe. Why do you ask?
It seems Kenrick, one of Newton Manor's men, has been absent for some time, hasn't reported in for any turn-ins, and considering the attempt on the life of its head, I'm wondering if this person might not be a plant of some description. Kenrick, for that was his name, left, along with 2 others, therefore unnamed, leaving behind this.
See why he'd leave behind his own coat of arms?
Yes, that's what I'm thinking.
Maybe he was just rushing.
Either he was in a panic, or someone's trying to throw us off the trail. But someone did leave and take his horse.
Awareness test, both of you.
Am I still impassioned, or is it different?
You can still be impassioned, yep.
Alright.
Would it be funny if those 3 bandits I killed weren't actually bandits?
That would have been
just really happy guys with spears just hunting.
Yeah. That would have been a crit.
What if it was our missing knights just who
No, that's
decided
rough.
to disguise themselves as bandits?
That'd
You
be
They
kinda
sucked
funny.
at sword fighting, if so.
The 2 of you spy what would be, you'd assume to be an eavesdropper, at least someone close enough to be dropping them eaves. But it is in fact Sir Elroy. Liam, you are here as Sir Elroy. It's been 3 days now, and you've heard nothing good about any sort of outcome yet. So, Edrich, of course, being torn between his duties and the getting the necessary information about the vote, playing a role on Ellen's council, and now this.
Edric's got energetic 16. He's not sleeping, and that suits him just fine.
So just to make sure, they have not picked a marshal yet. They're still in the process of collecting the votes.
They haven't even started the votes. They're like organizing the process to try and collect the votes.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay. Elroy's there, and he's not like making a big deal about being there. You know, he's just kind of checking in. And if he notices that he's been caught, you're gonna see he's pretty grumpy.
I think Florence just goes, maybe we can ask our friend over here. You, I remember you. Weren't you, among the men of,
Newton Manor, yes.
Newton Manor, yes. Did you know Ketherick well?
That's a good question, Bob.
Yes, you are indeed
Recognize.
just the man.
Recognize +10.
Then yes. I did.
Nice.
I know
knew
that
him.
dude so well.
Yeah, he was one of. If you weren't put in charge of watching Jarrett's back, Kenrick was number 2.
Now,
you know
Elroy-
him to
oh,
be
sorry.
a little bit jealous of the fact that you got the position. But he was very loyal to Jareth regardless. Like he was just it was more like you were a rivalry, but he didn't let that get in the way of yeah.
Now, I think Elroy has already primarily suspected that even though it kind of looked like it was somebody from another house, that this was an internal killing. Is there anything that should I roll suspicious to see if I can figure out any potential link that might have caused him to betray that trust? Or is it more of a like I'm pretty sure this guy did not do it?
I think that's more what you're getting. Like he would it would have to be something greater than a famous loyalty towards his family to betray
Right.
Jareth.
And then what was his name again? Sorry.
Kenrick.
Kenrick. Yeah.
Kenrick.
Elroy kind of shakes his head and goes, I think that he's not our man. Connected, maybe, but he loved Jareth. Very much so. If he was going to
Love
do
or
something,
not? Sorry.
if he was going to do something against him, he would have to have very, very strong motivations.
If this were external, a great number of resources could be brought to bear. And love or no, Kenrick has not been seen since that day, and his horse taken, with this coat of arms left. A question. He was reported as on the roll for the combat. Did you see him when you were mustering?
He would have been in my unit. Did I see him?
Yeah, you absolutely did. Yep.
Yes, he was there. If he's
And not
missing,
since then.
I'll preface that. Why don't you give me what will be this? We'll give you an awareness test. Okay.
yes.
As you're thinking about it, you're like, yeah, I did, absolutely. Day 1, absolutely. I remember talking with him. Day 2, yeah, I remember him beside me. I remember his like seeing his shield, the armaments.
Heraldry. But I didn't see his face, though.
You remember
right?
one
I
other
saw
thing. You remember seeing someone break from beside you and start riding in a different direction, right towards the end of the conflict.
When I didn't see his face, I just saw his heraldry and his armor, right?
Yeah, you're pretty sure, anyways. Like it's all
Yeah,
combat's a blur.
It's been a chaotic couple of days. I think Elroy goes, his things are missing. And I don't remember seeing his face. Someone from our formation broke, now that I think about it. Rode off in a different direction. I didn't pay much mind to it.
This is his sigil, right?
Then
there are two possibilities. Oh, sorry, you go.
It's strange that we would find it.
Quite so. There are two possibilities. The first is that he is a traitor, and when he was desperate and guilt-ridden about what he had done, he made mistakes and was sloppy. The second is that someone took his armaments and reported in his place, counting on the fact that he did not know anyone too deeply, and was able to infiltrate your ranks. After that, the act was performed. But in that case, Kenrick would be somewhere. Either way, this is a lead. And indeed, it was fortunate you were listening in. You were the person I was next going to speak to.
The way I see it, I can't see Kenrick being someone who would do such a thing. But, as many who worked under Jareth, it wouldn't be unreasonable for somebody to try to get us to look for him. If that's the case, we're not going to find him.
It's been a few days, and they have a head start. But merely wounding Jareth would not accomplish anything.
Indeed. They may try to finish the job, or perhaps they wanted to take him out of the running, or delay the competition. And I think there's like a look on his face suddenly as he like, why would they attack Jareth? His odds of success were not that likely.
It's not the fact that he would have become marshal that made him a threat to anyone. He joined mostly to put political pressure on other people. That's how he thought. The bigger picture. the larger region. He had spies in many places. Ah, I envy his network. I can privately admit this. But
I do not. It seems as if all this is not pointing towards inwards.
no,
This seems like a conspiracy of someone else. This is not simply a squabble over marshalhood. This is more.
This is bigger.
Someone wants Salisbury not to have definitive and decisive leadership.
My first suspect is, of course, Essex. It would be the guys in Kent. It would be Sussex. It would be Sussex. After all, Jaren's actions are very well done.
Jaren. He said Jaren was doing quite well.
What was that fumble?
I think the Seneschal is good, guys. I think I think he's safe, man. I think we got nothing to worry about that dude at all. He seems like a cool dude, you know? I like the cut of his jib.
Sure.
I'm just going to do a couple of things there because I heard a few different things. So Jaren's recent exploits have been against Essex, and Kent and Sussex are two different places, though immediately bordering one another.
Got you.
Okay.
That's my mistake. I was right.
No,
the
all
first
good.
time.
I was just giving you all the detail. So, hard to remember.
Yeah. It is most likely, after all, the Saxons are no stranger to assassination. Essex blinding the person giving information, and indeed crippling Salisbury in a time of turmoil, as well as hunting them.
The crippling Salisbury? Truly, there'd be more than one way to do that. I mean, I'll be honest, I don't know if there's much Jaren could have done to really affect the outcome. And even then, there was only real 2 people in the end. I don't know, this doesn't make any sense to me. There's something missing, something we don't have.
No. And indeed, if we can't find anything, then we must look for what is absent. We should note anyone who was here the first couple of days and is now no longer here, in case they fled along with Kenrick or whoever was posing as him. And we must look very closely at the people who remain. I have been watching the hospital room, but so far Ground hasn't seen anything suspicious. We should find anyone from foreign places and ask them nicely why they remain.
What about Sir Brastius?
I don't see that as his style.
No. If whoever did this has fled, it's unlikely we'll be able to catch them. Not without having to leave Salisbury, and that's going to present its own complications. But Brastius and his troop, they could move a little bit more freely. If they're hired, perhaps they can find something that we'll miss.
You want to pay them to help?
His own quest, and I'm not on coin. Oh, sorry, Hugo.
You could always pay him to hunt down old Ketherick.
Exactly.
Surely that's not worth too much.
You may be low on coin, but you were one time the sheriff. I'm sure you can convince the Countess to hire Brastius.
Well, one way or the other.
Or a marshal would have the authority to do so.
A marshal would, wouldn't they?
Oh, I'm staying out of this conversation. I've learned my mistake.
I understand completely. Your brother is a shrewd negotiator, but...
Oh yes, he could be a bit of a... Well, he reminds me a lot of you.
Oh no.
Take that how you'd like.
I think I take it as it was intended, but I will make it a compliment. Thank you.
Okay, anything else in this scene? Or do you want to move forward, guys?
I think Edrich will, if I could make a request. Florence, you like dealing with people?
I do, yes.
If I could ask something of you, as indeed you were dealing with Jareth, could you see of the dignitaries who serve foreign powers, who still remains and who has left?
Of course. Also check out a few things of my own. Shouldn't take too long.
Very good. As far as the matters of Newton Manor go, Sir El, if you could see who has last properly seen Sir Kenrick, that would be very useful. And if you can, find someone who is more willing to spill secrets to someone of an inside source. Kenrick can't have literally no personality or proclivities. Everyone has to have it. I'll take your silence as a yes.
Sorry about that.
No, don't worry, it's all right. And
Give it to me. Give it to me one more time.
Check within the sources of Newton Manor to see if anyone knew Kenrick or last saw him properly. And basically just look for him and look to see if anyone knows anything about him, if he was put under pressure, if that kind of thing. And meanwhile, Edrich... Sorry, you go.
I'll find his circles, but Jareth was the head of this snake. It'll be very difficult to wrangle what he left behind.
I trust you're up to it, and if not, well, I doubt you trust my direct assistance.
I don't mind.
You
made
will
a
help
promise.
as much as I am able. I'm
After
very busy.
all.
And I wouldn't worry too much. It'll take more than a dagger in the back to take that bastard down.
We're gonna zoom
Yes.
out a bit and check in on action stuff. You guys are okay with that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Sorry, I keep cutting Liam off though.
No, it's all good, buddy.
All right. So, in the next 24 hours, specifically overnight, Sir Jareth of Newton Manor perishes.
No!
Damn.
What were you saying, Florence?
Yeah.
Well, that didn't age well.
Ooh, yeah.
For day 4, this time's important.
Mhm.
What is each of your single most priorities? We'll go left to right, so we'll start with Thomas. What's your single most priority? We're gonna give you one check, one test.
Oh, God. I think at this point, I think very much Edrich... can I roll something? I'll be rolling my just versus arbitrary in this case.
Okay.
Because
Interesting.
one is finding this plot, and the other is getting more power so he can solve the plot better. Okay, success on just. Larger success on arbitrary. I think equally tied like that, Edrich is going to try to increase his chances for marshaldom. I would like to... you can pick either roll compose to essentially make a campaign speech to hopefully swing votes towards my way, or do intrigue to see which way the wind is blowing.
Okay. Depends on which of the two items you want to choose. Those are two different actions. I think you chose the right skills for them.
I'm going to do compose. I'm good at compose.
And who are you sending out to orate this?
That's a good question.
Another Sir Edrich campaign promise. I see how it is.
No, but I actually follow through. I wouldn't have killed so many people otherwise. If you will let me, I would like to do it myself while impassioning it.
If you're gonna do it yourself, I'm not gonna give you. If you're gonna impassion it, then you're not getting the compose plus like bonus. You're not gonna get a compose test as well. You can do the orate flat
Gotcha.
plus the intrigue, or you know what I mean. Compose.
Yeah, I get you.
You'll get the +5
what-
from just the passion.
What would the compose bonus be, hypothetically?
It's +5 if you succeed.
Okay. In that case, what I'm going to do... I don't really know anyone who could compose, who could orate for me, except perhaps The bishop I spoke before, and possibly Lady Violet, but they've got no inclination to help me. So I would like to impassion myself and roll orate.
All right, go for it.
I'm going to do, in this case, I need to succeed,
This would
not
be the
just for myself, and not even
fun-
just for Salisbury.
This would be the
But for a
funniest
larger
fumble
legacy.
of
It
all
will be the
time.
funniest fumble. If you will let me, I would like to roll love of family.
Sure.
This will be the funniest fumble of all time, because my orate is 6.
Oh, so it's still a chance.
There's still a chance. Edrich is way better at writing his thoughts. Edrich can't write. Edrich is way better at dictating his thoughts to someone else to write down. Low success, but still a success.
Okay.
Indeed, I didn't even have to impassion myself. Can I, for fun, without impassioning it, roll compose?
Yeah. I think what this is there's a moment where everyone's brought out, because everyone's still in Sarum at this point, right?
Yeah.
Or not everyone.
Yeah.
Most people remain in Sarum. There's a moment where Jareth's death is announced, and there's people lingering after, and Edrich has a grand opportunity at an audience, and he takes it.
Yes. I think Edrich will say, "This is a dark day. These are dark days for Salisbury, Jin. But it will not be night forever, and a dawn approaches. I have seen it as a knight of the sword, as one of the few who served King Uther before things fell into darkness and disarray. I have fought alongside many of you. I have led some, and it has been my honor to do so. If you will honor me, it will be my pleasure to do so again as a marshal. I have slain the enemies of Salisbury and of Logres. I have cut down Saxon kings and those who they venerated almost as demigods. Killed the berserkers of Wotan and withstood the javelins alongside many of you. Much needs to be done, and I wish to do it. Thank you."
All right.
And then he'll swoop away.
We're going to go to Florence in that first 24 hours. What are you doing?
Florence is focused on using specifically his contacts of performers and jugglers to kind of get the laydown on what exactly happened. He'd give them the description and the image of the shield, and basically ask around to see if any of them saw him or someone wearing this acting weird, talking to strange people, or talking to anyone of note.
Who are you checking in with this one?
It is the Idmiston rollers. In Idmiston, I had purchased patron to juggler troop, which is basically a group that I have hired to keep an ear out for me that travel around Salisbury.
Little
Okay.
spies.
Okay. Yeah. Check that's intrigue. Just flat. This is like
Flat.
Yeah.
I'm guessing I can't impassion myself.
yeah, because it's them, right? Or kind of
All right.
testing it. See if they pull through for you. Okay, they do.
Success.
Yes.
So they mention a lady that was seen. She seemed to be schmoozing with a number of the lords here.
Mhm.
And there was a knight, a bigger guy that almost acted like their bodyguard or her bodyguard.
Mhm.
One of the jugglers swear that they... do you show them the shield and stuff?
Yes, he shows them what it looks like.
They swear that they saw him carrying that shield out onto the tourney field.
The big man?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good to know.
Very good.
Does he get any information about perhaps the colors the woman was wearing? A description of any chance?
You get her description a bit. Yeah. Doesn't sound familiar to you.
Okay.
I don't remember if I pointed her out in the scene.
You did.
In fact,
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking
she was
about.
talking to the guy of Silch.
I just didn't remember if Florence
guy.
remembered.
Yeah.
That's all. That's what I was checking.
Yeah.
I remembered. So I assume Florence... Actually, no. Let's do a recognize. I think that fits, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it would. It was like a week ago.
Yep.
Florence is bad with faces.
Yes! Yes!
But not pretty ladies' faces from elsewhere.
Honestly.
He knows that.
Honestly. What's the
you
opposite of kryptonite? His yellow sun.
Can, you can get a tick there.
Alright, thank you.
Alright. So, you're almost certain you remember her. You remember her walking around with Satirius at one point.
Then that is someone that he is going to tell Edrich to look into. He will pass this information on to Edrich and basically let him handle it and be like, I'm fucking off back home. Good luck.
That's very fair. I'm going to ask you for a hug.
And what is Elroy doing with his 24 hours after the mention of Jaren? Jareth's death, I mean.
Well. I think right now his only lead is really the Kenrick stuff. So, he's going to focus down on investigating who Kenrick was seen with last, the groups that he hung out with in terms of, like, you know, at the big feast right before the combat stuff happened, and general connections that he might have that might point to, like, what his political opinions are. You know, just learn more about his leanings and his recent actions.
Give me an intrigue roll +2.
And I'm also going to impassion myself.
Okay.
That is a success.
Okay. That's your passion, but no, okay, there we go.
Correct.
Hell yes.
Okay. Okay.
What do my 10 eyes see?
You end up being able to investigate his room, like that's what you get permission to do. And you immediately smell a stench as you walk in. This hasn't been
That's what
been looked after.
Where do I find his body?
It's stowed away in like the storage closet in the room in a sack.
How was he killed?
Stabbed many times with a probably it looks like a long knife, perhaps.
Many times is interesting detail.
Yeah.
A long knife?
They're back.
Give me a moment here. Okay. Already somebody has taken the time and effort to seemingly frame Sir Kenrick. But his body's already here. A long knife makes sense, sure, but it also makes sense. I think he's gonna kind of keep that to himself a little bit here. Is there anything that I can find in here for my critical that might give me some direction? Probably not. even with my critical.
I'll say this because I think you were thinking that way. You know, with the type of the long knives that they refer to are called seax,
right,
for the Saxons. It seems like someone was trying to make sure that you get, with your suspicion especially, and then your credit on the intrigue, that's someone trying to make an emphasis to say, yep, the Saxons were behind this, more than the Saxons being behind this.
That's what I thought. Yeah. Okay, he will take note of all of this and alert the proper
Actually,
authorities. Whoop.
I want you to take test hate Saxons -10 to get it to overcome your bias from that from ruling.
I have
that.
great news for you. For some reason, I have no hate Saxons.
Okay, well you should have some. You're from you're from that
Yeah.
area.
Yeah.
Roll
What is it,
3d6
default
real quick.
10? Oh, 3d6. Okay.
How racist are you?
Oh yeah, roll for racism.
favorite
It's
game
been a
show.
while.
12 minus
12?
10. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm rolling a 2.
Okay.
Just roll a d20 if you want.
The chances.
No, I'm gonna do something funny instead.
Trust Rhodri. And there we go.
Not enough, baby.
Okay.
Mhm.
So your animosity for the Saxons is not great enough to overcome your objective mind here, and as a result, you are able to tuck that aside and go, yeah, they want us to think it's the Saxons. Thus, the multiple. strikes
Somebody's
with the
already
blade.
playing games here.
Yeah.
There's no reason for this to be that obvious,
Yeah.
right?
I think, regardless of if that would be shared with Edrich would share the lady hanging around with the what did you say, Duke Silchester?
Yep. Duke. No.
No,
not Duke.
no, different dude.
Baron Satirius.
Satirius,
Ah, got you.
The Baron
Baron
Swans from
Statirius.
Silchester.
the Swan.
Yes. Sir Statirius. And just report that it was the lady hanging with Sir Statirius. And possibly, because he would have noted also that Sir Loof was in that trio, though he might not have, since it was just the lady
Oh,
and the...
Also, Florence would of course told you that the traveler troops. Sorry, it's going on. Running late.
Oh, good.
The traveler suit is convinced that they saw someone else wearing the shield, the coat of arms of Ketherek, and that it was the bodyguard of the lady.
Very good. Edrich would also share that.
That's very
We're
important
convening.
information.
Very much so.
All right.
Can we go after them now? Can we send someone after them?
Yes.
I've got an exalted passion, dude. I gotta resolve this.
So
You're gonna
here-
find
Gotta be done.
Who the fuck
Here's-
they
Find
are?
that lady.
Yeah, here's the challenge with this. You are able to uncover all of this and put it together at the end of the fourth day. So
Yeah.
they would have had 4 days. You also find out that now that you're onto them, that it sounds like the lady and her entourage, including a big guy, departed on night 2. So you'd be 2 days ride behind them, potentially.
Honestly, that's absolutely fine. Like 2 days ride in England isn't much, especially if they've got an entourage.
It is if we have to be back here, though.
We
Yes,
also
that's
don't
true.
know where they're going.
Yeah.
That's also true. So you're not like, if you were just trying to race them somewhere, it'd be pretty easy, but you aren't even sure where they're from.
They're trying to hunt them. Yeah.
Elroy is going to once again make a plea for hiring Brastius, who does not have a leg in this race anyway and is going to be leaving anyway. Like, he's got the ability to travel and really investigate and spend time doing that we wouldn't, and he also Elroy believes that he's the kind of guy that would stick to his word on that.
Speaking to Brastius is definitely a thing that can be done, but with Jareth dead, what happens to his contract? Oh, sorry, we can do this in character. But with Jareth dead, will he take on new contracts or will he continue with his quest?
His contract was fulfilled. He was to serve on the sides that Jareth advised. But that's no longer an option. He's already been paid, and so he plans to move on. If you want him, you'll have to grab him soon.
Then let us speak with him. One way or the other, I plan to seek this lady. And yeah, could we speak to Sir Brastius if he's here? And also,
he is gone.
God damn it.
okay.
He did say he was leaving on day one.
Yeah, he did.
Was hoping he'd stick around for a couple days, man.
I mean,
In that case, yeah.
The thing about mercenary units, they like people knowing where they are so they can be hired. So you can...
We can send a messenger or something for him.
But yes, I think upon figuring this out on like the 4th day, there's probably not too much room to do too many more actions, and I'm conscious of time. But Edrich very much wants to talk to people within the court and the party to see who this lady was, and he wants to. Well, I mean, on the behest of possibly a foreign power, she killed a Knight of Salisbury. He wants to cut her head off and put it on a stick.
Let's do a really quick 4-round feast. I think that'll really get.
Yeah, I
that's
think
quick.
that'll be a good idea.
Let's do a quick extended investigation.
Speed run.
There is no such thing, and you're really just not going to have the opportunity. But Brastius can be traced down. He was about to head over to Cornwall because this summer Cornwall is specifically the county of Tintagel. The county of Tintagel is under siege by King Idris of Cornwall. You can, if you send someone for him, his honor is high. He will turn his attention. Ooh, that's a tough one. Did you guys send someone for him?
Would have liked to. I think.
Yeah, I think Elroy could definitely. He would have the wherewithal, and Edrich could probably Edrich wouldn't have to okay it. You could just send a dude.
Then yeah, I'd say so.
Okay, 1 sec. You know what I got to test for him?
Loyalty, hypothetical lord.
Yeah, loyalty lord, because he once served Gorlo. It's going to be very high. It's slightly down because Gorlo's dead, but it's like honoring his memory.
Yeah. Sebrastius would be really helpful in Cornwall.
Or honor. Oh boy.
Because he once served Uther.
And I won't tell you what his honor is, because I think that's fun.
Alright.
I can tell you it's not a 20 because he fumbles that.
Oh.
So he chooses
What?
Gorlo.
Yeah.
His honor is not 20 or greater, so he will fumble that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh well.
So it just means
that's good for Cornwall.
Yeah, he ends up sending a notice that like Tintagel specifically was his lord's lands, and he will be there to fight for Gorlo's memory. He does send an apology because I think naturally he would have been here otherwise. So
Yeah.
no, he doesn't because he fumbled. So we'll say it's something a little more scathing.
He actually-
First of all, fuck you.
Yeah.
It's actually
almost like-
a little drawing. It's actually a little drawing of a butt.
I'm helping to protect the lands you help fucking ruin.
Yeah.
It does really make sense because the conversation with Elroy and Brastius did not go well
No.
that last time.
Or just any of you. Like I think he's like Salisbury. Effectively, his thing is like my exit interview tells me that Salisbury sucks and needs to figure its shit out. The end. Like good luck.
I know it does, but you can't just say that out loud.
Yeah. It's not meant to be offensive. He just sounds like he's like, I've got pressing manners. If I'm successful, if we're successful in holding Tintagel, perhaps you'll remain an independent county for some time, like something like that,
Indeed.
right? Like, now that does leave Florence with news earlier than I was expecting him to have. The fact that Tintagel's under siege, is he turning gears towards that, or is he invested in what's going on here?
He was already on his way, so
Yeah, he was as soon as the 4th day was over and he gave the information to Edrich, he went home.
Okay.
He was done.
we are going to wrap it there, gents, because we don't have enough time to deal with everything. And it's been just about 3 hours. That was a pretty good session. Man, 497 is going to be a long year because we're not even at Christmas yet.
Yeah.
And I'm hopeful that next session we'll have Zach, but I haven't checked with him yet to see if that's possible.
Zach!
Oh,
Indeed.
he's gonna have some issues.
Time.
And we'll probably figure out your situation in Tintagel, how that goes, and as a little bit of the vignette that episode. But we'll also have a guest, so we'll balance that carefully.
Exactly. All good.
Yep. And then let's do some outros, guys. Good stuff. I know man does Anarchy feel different so far. I'll just say that.
Yes, it does. I love it. I love it.
Yeah. It's good.
We'll go to Thomas first.
Hello and goodbye. I'm still Thomas, and I've been Sir Edrich, who's doing his best running on a campaign of, I guess, paranoia, fear, and strongmanning. So 1,500 years early, coming into style. But yes, that has been me. I've had a lot of fun, and it's always good to play with you guys, especially after a long period of not doing it, and good to slip back into Edrich's misanthropic shoes.
Awesome. Florence, or Mark, actually.
Sorry, I didn't see you there. I was just checking out our handy-dandy Discord. By the way, do you know we have a Discord? Come check us out. We have all kinds of fun shit on there, like memes and new shows and announcements of whenever we go live and new things that we're doing. You can also come and be part of Open Pendragon when it's a thing. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Sometimes. But overall, come join us for the fun, stay for the great people and the fun memes, and honestly, the wild shit posting. And yeah, I've been Mark, aka the Cat's Meow. Check me out on my channels and stuff, links of which are probably on the Discord server somewhere, so join that. And you can find me at the Cat's Meow Show in a bunch of places. That's me!
We'll go to Liam next, who's played a whole bunch of characters.
I did. Today I have been Sir Elroy and also Sir Virgil in a brief and glorious moment. I have such a fun time in this game. It's so cool. It's so nice to spend time with such cool and wonderful role players and a wonderful GM and Bob. I am looking forward to next time. We'll see you guys there, and more things will happen. There will be blood. Almost certainly. There's been a lot of blood lately.
Indeed. Yeah, so I'll just I'll plug a few things in follow-up. So we're back next week with Pendragon. After that, we'll have our very first episode of Gentlemen of the List. So that's coming quickly. You can catch us for Pendragon on Tuesdays with our Gathering of Branches crew for Summerland Enchantment, and on Fridays up in Wales for Nantelia's Legacy. And we are all connected in this shared space of Arthuriana. It's been pretty cool to do, and this episode's been great, guys. Thanks for the excellent roleplay. I look forward to seeing Virgil back in Sarum. We got through day 4, so he's only 2 more days away. Well, 3 more days away. We'll probably skip a few days, given you're waiting for Brassius to return a reply. So we'll probably have y'all back and figure out the end of this year.
What a glorious little Virgil. Yeah.
Yeah. And we'll have to check out what Perin's up to, but probably not next episode. We'll see where that goes. But
who's Perin?
Yeah. Oh, Percy. Right? Yeah. Or what did we call him again? What was it? Stumpy.
Percival. Yeah. Stumpy. That's right, Stumpy.
Stumpy. Yeah, Stumpy.
Stumpy the Jester.
Yeah. All right, guys.
You should.
That was fun.
Yeah, very nice.
Yes, thanks very much, and thanks for watching.
I wanted to say Jaren died too. Jareth died, sorry. Not Jaren. Jareth died due to some random feast rolls that we did to determine well, not necessarily. There was a number of blocks that everyone fumbled rolls on to make sure that he died, for sure. But that plot hatched as a result of random stuff. So that was kind of fun.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
guys
that's
made some
cool.
rolls at the beginning of the session, and there was a foreign spy, and we went from there. And our bodyguard did not see it, and also Florence did not catch it, so it was a good time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was on the opposite side of the
Not
field,
Florence,
so
Rhodri.
I can't be blamed for incompetence.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time. Take care.
Bye.
Oh well.
In the year of our Lord, a mournful chill hath settled upon the realm of Britain, for it hath endured a desolation of 16 winters, bereft of a high king to guide and unite the land. The Supreme Collegium, entrusted with the sacred duty to anoint a rightful sovereign, hath faltered in its solemn task, lamented the whispers among the people. The 9 surviving legates, their voices entangled in a web of protocol and precedence, hath failed to act. Alas, it seemeth the twilight of the Collegium, as a potent body hath descended upon us. Throughout the land, tales abound of tribute paid, but alas, it floweth not into the coffers of a worthy ruler, but rather into the hands of invaders and those ill-fitted to the throne. The noble lords of Logres, once stalwart pillars of our realm, hath been laid low, though some secrets lie shrouded in mystery. Duke Ulfius, a survivor of many a harsh winter, findeth himself enshrouded in whispers of a shadowy alliance with the treacherous South Saxon. Duke Corneus, long in hiding, hath emerged from the shadows, and as he journeyed northward with exiles from Hanton, a fateful clash hath erupted at the border of East Saxon. In the wake of many a raid upon Caerwent, key strongholds once lost hath been reclaimed. The Irish, like a relentless horde, wage war upon the lands of Gales, swarming in their thousands, akin to vermin unleashed upon the fields. Norgales, in the throes of despair, offereth tribute to the mountain tribal leaders, known as the 3 Cadlus. These Cadlus, in their quest for willing souls to join their cause, dangle the allure of plunder. Yet, little plunder will be found in battling against the Irish. In the heart of Cambria, the kingdoms of Scavalon and Cameliard convene beneath the banners of peace, a meeting graced by the presence of the illustrious kings Leo de Grance and Ninteliad. King Idris of Cornwall hath need of willing souls, and the castellan of Castle Dimlock in Tintagel doth seek volunteers for his cause to defend against the King of Cornwall. King Cerdic of Wessex, ever the ambitious warlord, raiseth a formidable host, and seeketh the aids of mercenaries. A fleet of ships, a foreboding harbinger of strife, hath also been amassed under his banner. In the fabled lands of Salisbury, the great Marshal's tournament hath been postponed, for news of turmoil along their western borders hath reached their ears. The Castle Woodhouse, a bastion once held by the late Prince Madoc, and a hoary hill fort of Westford Castle, are said to have fallen under the dominion of mercenary armies. Yet the superstitious whisper of fey-folk and giants, laboring to reclaim what was lost in the days of Uther's invasion of the magician king's summit.